Create a vision, have an idea of what you want, try stuff, instead of just listening to someone like me.
Hello, so we're still here at Studioszene or Studioszene actually, and we just ran into Kristian Kohle, Kohle Studio. You might know him. He's one of the most, I'd say, well-known metal producers in Europe and probably worldwide at the moment. So, Kristian, our audience is mainly self-recording bands, DIY artists. So, do you still work with a lot with self-recorded projects that you get to mix and stuff? Is that a thing you do?
All the time, actually. Even the bigger projects. I just talked about it on the studio sofa. I hardly record guitars anymore because even the bigger bands, they usually record a lot of the stuff themselves. So yeah, mostly guitars, bass, DI tracks for me to reamp. So that's one thing. And a lot of the singers actually also prefer, to be in their own environment and to whatever. Track vocals at midnight after 3 beers, just to find out it sucks and then to do it again. Other people really need the studio and the pressure and maybe the producer, as a partner or something. But especially guitars and bass, it's mostly self-recording, and there's a lot to improve. Motherfuckers.
Give us some examples of that. What are the biggest pet peeves you have?
Distorted DI tracks. Yeah. And noisy DI tracks. I mean, distorted DI tracks, usually RX saves my ass, that works pretty well. With noise as well, but it's people just pick up so much shit from whatever, from their laptops, from whatever, the neighbor's chainsaw, or from the lights or whatever. So I always try to preach that it's so important to have a clean DI track, a well-recorded DI track. Then some people even plug the guitar into a line input with the wrong impedance, so you get like this. This happens. Yeah, distorted tracks. I believe it's actually important to record a sounding DI track.
Yeah, the DI needs to sound good itself, right?
So
it needs to sound musical.
That helps.
So getting it less noisy, do you got any tips on that? Is it the turn around if you've got a telly until there's no buzz?
So load a plug-in, turn off the noise gate, just leave it off all the time. It's just going to fool you, leave it off. And listen, see how much noise you have. If there's a lot of noise, unplug your laptop from the power or something. Maybe that helps. Turn off the light.
The dimmer
Go
lights.
to another room. Yeah, move around. Just find the position that is the best. And usually there's a massive difference between, and then it might not be perfect, but usually you can get a way better noise floor if you just
prove it.
Try stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Then listen to this guy.
Because
what he's talking about.
Just imagine, guitarists are real purists, and if you tell them, if you are doing the modern cool thing, I recorded the eye and then I let Kristian reamp it, it's compared to how guitars were recorded back in the days, with just a guitar going straight into an amp, with the purest, the most purest way to doing this. Now we put a DI box, a mic pre, a converter, another converter, and a reamping box in between the guitar and the amp. Yeah. And this will all change the sound, cause some noise, cause some distortion and stuff. So if you just imagine giving a guitarist putting all that stuff between, then they start realizing how important all that gear is.
Yeah,
because once you send that DI signal, which might sound okay, into a high gain amp, where you amplify it 1,000 times,
and
you hear the difference.
Exactly, totally.
Don't get me started.
That's really good advice. Do you ever get it when people send you DI tracks, but they don't print any amps or plugins, and you have to guess what they actually want, or get back to them and be send me guitars? Because I have that sometimes where I don't even know what they want to do.
Right. I mean, in metal, it's usually
obvious.
Not that much of it. But still, I try to encourage people
to have a vision, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's I'm not doing that a lot, but my colleague Kai, he gets a lot of smaller projects where people, and it really happens that people just send him MIDI drums.
Yeah.
And DI tracks. And it's can you please mix this? It's
what is this?
What are you trying to tell me? And then I always encourage people to come up with some kind of guitar tone. Could be a plugin, could be whatever, and maybe it's 4 tracks, so I can use those ones and add something missing. But find your own tones.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. And that's kind of the funnest part anyways, right? Why would you skip that?
Yeah, totally. Exactly. Yeah. It's just do the boring stuff.
You're an educator yourself. You are doing the Kohle audio cult thing. which is awesome, by the way. And do you get like common questions that people ask over and over again? Is there a certain common, thing, or you see certain problems other than what we just talked about?
I get a lot of monitoring questions.
Oh, really?
Because I feel like a lot of the problems that people have when I review mixes is monitoring related.
Oh, okay.
You see, like when you feel like you tell people, hey, it has no low end at all, and they go like,
yeah.
It sounds super fat. I go like, there might be a problem there.
Right.
So that's one of the common things. There's so many questions. I don't know.
Of course. Yeah.
I do a lot of mix reviews there, so
right.
that's one part of the academy that people can send in their mixes, and I actually managed to still review everything, not the next day, but after some time, and I'm quite impressed by the level of the standards there. Yeah, people actually.
I feel the same way. Like when I listen to our student stuff, it's like it keeps getting better and better. Absolutely. Do you often find that when you critique a mix that it's maybe not the mix, but actually they should go back a step and fix the recording, or it's the arrangement or the editing, but they think it's the mix? Because I get that quite a few times.
Yeah, that's right. In my case, they very often mix the multi-tracks from inside the academy.
Mm-hmm.
So those are usually pretty good sounding.
Perfect.
So we don't. But yes, that's something I have been preaching my entire career, is to try to get everything right at the source, if possible, because it just makes everything easier. Or now. I'm also about to talk here with Ruben from Elysia about analog gear in the studio, and I do use a lot of analog gear on the way in, just because I know that's what I'm going to do anyway. So just commit to. So I EQ the toms on the way in. I compress the vocals on the way in, because that's
And also you put a lot into like building that studio and everything. Like I was at your studio once, and I was in the what do you call your drum room?
Room of Boom.
Yeah, the Room of Boom, exactly.
That's fantastic.
And that's such a cool design, such a cool room. It's not as big in terms of like that, but it's high.
It's high,
and it's like it sounds crazy cool. And of course, like you can tell from walking into your studio, if you see the gear, if you see the room, that the source is important to you, capturing it right.
Yeah.
And it sounds pretty great right out of the gate, like before even mixing. And so
and it's like that's what I recommend usually. I have never spent a lot of money into super expensive outboard gear. I do have some fancy shit, but I always, or at the beginning, I realized quickly I have to invest in drums, cymbals, and guitar amps, and cabs, and of course microphones. That's the important part.
Yeah, that's again the source.
Right. So I was like, okay, all drummers have shitty drums, so I'm never gonna get a good. Even if you have whatever 5 Pultec EQs, you're not gonna fix it.
Yeah.
So that's why I have less fancy EQs and compressors, but I have 15 snares. Right. And a lot of
just
guitar
enough.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So better invest in that and take your time getting that right at the source.
Awesome.
And let's work.
Perfect. When can people find the Kohle Audio Cult? Is it like what's the best way?
KohleAudioCult.com. Yeah. There's also the YouTube channel, also called Kohle Audio Cult. I'm sure you'll put a link somewhere here.
Yeah.
And the academy is subscription based, so you subscribe. The cool thing is you will get everything we've ever released. So from day one, like all the courses we have, and it's like recording, mixing, mastering stuff.
And also guest teachers and stuff
guest
like
teachers,
that. Right?
And from all kinds of metal, like from hard rock, from AC/DC to black metal, like everything.
Great.
And it's a cool community. But we also sell every single course individually.
All right. I didn't even know that. I thought it was just the whole package.
Yeah, people. I gotta push that a little because people don't know that. You can buy just the EQing snare drums course for $9.
Oh, that's great.
If you want, or
awesome.
Don't quote me exactly on the price, but you know what I mean. It might be 15. I don't know. So you can do that. If you just want Jens Bogren talking about IRs, you buy that. If you just want to mix the Motorhead you buy that. Or if you're smart, you take the whole thing.
Yeah. Who wouldn't want to see Jens Bogren talk about IRs, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, great stuff. You still do things with Warren also, like
I'm actually. I mean, Kohle Audio Cult is we're doing that together. You don't really see him.
Yeah.
He's in the background, but it is our company,
Great.
So we're doing stuff together, and that's one of the reasons for being here, actually.
Oh,
because I can meet Warren, we can finally,
hang out
without a 9-hour time difference,
Warren's amazing. We did a podcast with him in advance of this already, a long one, and then yesterday the studio sofa over there, and he's like, it's amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
He's great.
He makes it so easy for you because you ask 2 questions and 45 minutes.
He's got it. He's got the answers. It's awesome.
It's so good. So good. All right, and if people want to work with you in terms of the studio, where do they go? Where do they contact you?
To the studio website, kohlekeller.de. Don't go there. I have too much work anyway. No, but
are you even available, or are you booked up for the next like 2 years?
Yeah, I'm pretty much booked. But I also like the most of the studio work is also I have 2 other guys working there.
Awesome. Right.
So the studio is constantly busy with bands and.
Did you actually find someone? Because I remember 2 years ago or so when we were at your place, you were looking for someone.
Okay. I don't remember if it was the meeting when you were there, or if it was the meeting the year after. I don't know.
I don't know. But the time when I was there, you were still looking for someone. We were talking about that, but you hadn't found someone
because
yet.
It turned out it was actually someone who was at the meeting.
Great.
Oh,
awesome.
He is now working full time. He moved.
Really?
He moved to Darmstadt, full time working in the studio. Right now, recording drums.
That's the way to do it, yeah. The boss is hanging out here and they're recording drums.
Hello, Daniel.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, glad to hear that. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Fantastic. Any like one piece of advice, like the one main thing that we can leave people with, instead of recording people?
No, there's no one.
Yeah, I thought so.
No, but maybe that one thing is like what we talked about it. Create a vision, have an idea of what you want, try stuff, instead of just listening to someone like me.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great to meet you. Thank you.